Anthony Adebayo. We off the record. Scotty B. We off the record. And the most accurate sports coverage. We off the record. Scotty B's Fantasy 5. We off the record. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. We off the record. Anthony Adebayo. We off the record. And the most accurate sports coverage. We off the record. Scotty B's Fantasy 5. We off the record. We off the record.
We're different from any other sports show.
And we here.
We back, man. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. What's going on? This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B. How ironic. We both got on baseball caps.
and people, that was not planned. I promise. It wasn't planned, but hey, it works. It works. But
well, I knew you would have a cap on because I know you ain't got no haircut.
It's rough.
Yeah, looking rough.
But before we even start, man, the reason why we're streaming and remote is because of the coronavirus, COVID-19, and unfortunately, we lost somebody in the Virginia State family, a close friend of mine and yours, Al Tariq Patterson. Unfortunately, he lost his life due to the coronavirus on Sunday morning. So, rest in peace to him. We're gonna dedicate this show to Tariq.
Absolutely, that was a good call out with that. Very, very, very sad situation. I think COVID-19 is starting to hit people more home, just in the sense of that's the first person that I directly knew that died from the virus. I'm not saying like we were super tight or anything. I just remember him coming in with him at Virginia State. He was part of our class, and just from what I remember, very positive, upbeat person. I don't think anybody really could say anything negative about him, man. Just reading some of the articles and reading some of the Facebook posts, it seems like the same Tariq that I met 21 years ago stayed consistent in his life with that. So definitely he will be missed. I know they got a GoFundMe going around for his family and his children.
And we'll definitely share it.
Yeah, I've already shared it on my personal link, and we'll probably share it on the Off the Record page. But unfortunate that he had to die and leave his wife and was it 3 kids? Or
3 kids, a set of twins.
Right.
Yeah. So again, I'm with you on that one, man. That's tough. That's a tough one because it's like man. Well,
the wild thing is, and Ant, he knows I'm famous for this. Ant, I always feel like knew a lot more people than I did. So, when we learned of his passing, you had texted me and you was like, have you heard? And I was like, nah. And you was like, do you know this guy? And I was like, I in my head I had a visual of him, and I was like, I probably don't know him. And sure enough, man, when you showed me the picture, I was like, dang, man. I was like, exactly, who I was thinking of. So, man, just prayers to his family, and
absolutely.
Shout out to the Virginia State community for everything they've done with helping with the GoFundMe, and shout out to the New Jersey. What was the city? You may be more familiar with.
Where he's from? Where he was. It was Bell. Where he worked, or where he was a officer at. It was I'll get it, but yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, just shout out to them for just starting that and just spreading the word and doing what they had to do.
Yeah, man. So again, rest in peace to Tariq, and praise up to his family.
Man, so I got a couple of things I wanted to bounce off of you. Of course.
Wait a minute, wait. You're not bouncing anything off of me.
Yeah. Pause on that.
is killing you, man. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Well, I have nothing to bounce off you, but I wanted to get your feedback. The XFL, it looks like
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap again. I really, really, really hate this because I felt like they got the formula right this time.
Right.
They were just enough innovative to where they had changed. I don't want to say how you think about football, but they brought some really good ideas with the kickoff, the extra point with being able to go for 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. A lot of the in mic stuff with the offensive coordinators and the coaches, and just very innovative league. I felt like they didn't go over the top with trying to make it like WWE, like it was the first time around. I think a lot of people appreciated that they didn't market themselves as a direct competition to the NFL, but it was just more for a lot of players that are good enough to be on rosters, but just the numbers just didn't add up. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I'm hoping that somehow, some way, they could figure out a way to bring it back. Because I felt like they were on a good path, and I know they had to cancel the season, but to shut it down, I hope that they could find a way to do that, because if I'm not mistaken, I think they filed bankruptcy.
Right.
The league has filed bankruptcy. Just saw that WWE released like some wrestlers, some executives are taking pay cuts, and I mean, it's tough, especially in the situation that it is now. Me personally, I'm hoping that the XFL could come back, because I thought they had something good going on.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the NFL is going to adapt a lot of the rules and just some of the innovative technology that they were using. It just I felt like it was at the right time of year to where he did have basketball going on, but football was completely over. And if you're a hardcore football junkie, here you go, So, just an unfortunate situation with that.
Yeah, man, and it just brings in that narrative of, can anyone compete with the NFL? And even though they weren't necessarily directly competing with the NFL, but it's another league that comes in where it's like, man, another one, but this one felt like it was done right. Even like the AAF or whatever, that was the year before.
Right.
It was okay, but that seemed rushed. It didn't seem like really, really organized, and it wasn't really innovative, So, and they didn't really have guys that you was like, you said, oh, he can. They had some guys that played in the league, but it was just like, this is just another league that probably won't last. The XFL, the way they marketed it and the way they did everything, it seemed like, oh, this could stick around.
So one thing that I noticed that I think is really contributing to it's an undercovered league, right? So I kind of feel that way about the Big Three. To where
they're going on year 5 though.
They're going on year 5, but I think if it got the coverage from like an ESPN standpoint, to where and I'm not just talking about televising the games, right? Because like they're televising the Big Three, they televise like the XFL. I'm talking about highlights on Sports Center, or just maybe even the topic here or there on First Take or some of the other shows to gauge more interest. Because I feel like the average sports fan just depending on what you have going on in your life, it's not realistic to sit there and watch every single game. But most people do catch Sports Center, or they might catch First Take, or if you Fox Sports 1, and that generates more interest in it.
Yeah, I mean, well, the big three, I think. Well, I went to a game last year in Miami. Yeah, I mean, it was packed. I mean, it was a packed house. Now, you're not going to get the crowd that you would get for the Heat games, but I mean, it was jam packed. And now I would agree that they can take it to another level with maybe some of the promoting. But I think they do. I think they do a good job with the big three as far as like getting the word out and the players that they have. They have some. These guys can still ball. They can't play in the NBA anymore, but they can still ball. I think that if they want to extend it or open it up, and you have athletes like Terrell Owens that can play basketball. And let them, because Terrell Owens wants to be in the league, but they won't let him because he played football. He didn't play professional basketball.
And see, okay, so Terrell Owens is, I say he's a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that they just have people that played in the league, just because it just doesn't turn into your average street ball tournament or your average and one tournament. And not to say that there's nothing wrong with that, but it keeps it exclusive.
And I feel that, but if you so they already have a combine or a combine,
right?
So they have a combine. So if you have somebody like we'll stay with Terrell Owens, for instance, who can ball. We've all seen him play in celebrity games. We've seen him play, and if he goes to the training camp and he balls out and he's just not like a circus, you know what I'm saying? If he's really balling, I say, why not?
You think Terrell Owens could compete with those guys?
Absolutely. You don't think Terrell Owens could compete with something like with Big Baby? Please, he was destroyed.
Man. I want to be honest. I mean, to play NBA basketball is
Terrell Owens could have played in the NBA.
You think Terrell Owens could have played in the NBA?
Terrell Owens could have played in the NBA. Absolutely. Terrell Owens could have played in the NBA, man. There's a few guys in the NFL that could have played in the NBA, which we know because some people play college basketball. But yeah, LeBron could play in the NFL.
Okay. So LeBron could play in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about some of these guys playing in the NBA. I think a lot of the guys made the right decision because they weren't going to get NBA looks. I mean,
like Antonio Gates.
Like Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez, I don't think they could have played in the NBA.
I agree. But you said Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez. Terrell Owens is already 3-4 inches taller than them guys and can run and can play. He can actually play basketball.
No, he can play basketball. Nobody's disputing that. I mean, all those guys that we just mentioned could play basketball, but at the NBA level, I don't know, man. Randy Moss can ball. I mean, but do you think he could have played at NBA level? I mean, there was talks during the lockout. Brandon Marshall was going to try out for the Heat. It didn't materialize, but
I don't know. I'm just going on NBA. Because Randy Moss is that good of an athlete. I'm not saying that these guys are going to average 20 and 10, but compared to some of the people we see playing in the NBA right now,
I disagree. I think Terrell Owens, had he focused on basketball, like just coming in, like from college, it's a strong possibility that he could have played in the NBA. Mm-hmm. But at the height of his NFL career, I don't think he could have crossed over and played in the NBA.
No, I mean he would have to be playing the game. I'm not saying that he can, like, in his 10th year in the league, that he can just go into the NBA and be successful. In his 10th year in the league, he can go to the NBA. And again, I'm not saying that he would be he could put up Kendrick Perkins numbers or better.
I don't know, man.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
Nah, man. The NBA, in my opinion, is one of the hardest leagues to make, man. Okay. It is very, very, very difficult to get into the NBA.
And I understand that. And that's just because of the roster size. That's just because of the roster size. Like, playing in the NFL is not easy. Playing football isn't easy.
Playing any professional sport is not easy.
But you take them world-class athletes. You take them because everybody that plays in the league isn't a world-class athlete. There's certain guys that are just like world-class, and you look at them like, oh, they can play another sport.
It's a tough debate because again, I think we're arguing two different things. I think had some of these world-class athletes focused on different sports, yes, you know what I mean? Like, I'm convinced that Russell Westbrook could have played baseball or could have played football just because he's that good of an athlete. LeBron James, yeah, he's that good of an athlete to where if he focused on a different sport, but just to say that these guys could just walk in there because they're just that athletic.
I wasn't saying that though. So this is what I am saying, that T.O. can go to the big three right now and dominate in the big three.
See, I don't even think he would dominate.
I mean, dominate may be a really, really strong word, but he would be successful in the big three. Because I don't really know who's dominating in the big three right now.
Because it's undercover.
It's not undercover, man.
It is undercover.
I mean, you watch more games than me.
And I couldn't tell you who dominated it. I mean, I have my favorites. Like, you know, I like watching Nate Robinson. I like watching Gilbert Arenas. You know, I like watching Rashad McCants when he was playing. It's some good players, but as far as who's the dominant face of the league, I think the league has struggled since because they built up Iverson, right? At one point, Iverson was the face. No, right. I'm talking about like when it was marketing and everybody kind of like tuned in because it was like, oh, okay, AI. But he never got off to a good start. He didn't really play much.
He didn't play that much. So
he played like one game or something like that.
That's gonna be the big thing for the big three is getting those superstars that were in the NBA. So unfortunately, it's not going to be Kobe Kent because Kobe has passed away. But if you get somebody like a Vince Carter in like 2 years, once he's got the NBA out of his system, you get somebody like Vince Carter to play in the big three. That's going to be a big deal because I think Vince Carter would be all right in the big three. Yeah. You get a lot of these guys that are retired because Steven Jackson was playing too, right?
Steven Jackson, and that's another one. Nah, Steven Jackson was balling.
Yeah.
Chauncey Billups was playing, and he was pretty decent.
You need to get some characters, like get a Rasheed Wallace. I know Rasheed Wallace is coaching. Stackhouse not going to do it because he coaches.
Stackhouse might be too old. The guy.
He's not too old. There's some.
Man, Stackhouse got to be pushing.
Stackhouse.
I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say
it because he ain't that far from our age.
Stackhouse?
Yeah, like Stackhouse is 50, dog. Stackhouse is probably like 41, 42. Look at you got your phone right there. Go look it up. I'm telling you, Stackhouse ain't that old.
Stackhouse left the league in 2010.
Yeah, but he was hurt and he was done. That don't mean it's not like he wasn't. It wasn't like he retired at 38. He didn't retire. He probably was like 35 when he retired.
Nah, man. Stackhouse might have been closer to 40 when he retired.
So you think Stackhouse is 40 right now? I mean 50.
He's closer to 50 than 40.
that's saying like 46, but he's not 46. Jordan is what, 55?
I'm about to look it up now.
Because Jordan is what? Jordan is what, 55, 56? So nah. But yeah, I mean, but you need to get some names and some stars in order to like push it to the next level. You have to.
So we split. Stackhouse is 45.
Okay, I mean,
yeah.
So I was more right than you.
I'll take it. Christian McCaffrey, man.
Christian McCaffrey.
What's up, man? What's up with Christian McCaffrey?
All right, so I caught a little bit of slack the other day because I said, and tell me if you think I was out of bounds. I don't even know if you saw it. So I said that if Christian McCaffrey was black, they would have made him sweat a little bit before he got that contract. Not saying that he wouldn't have got that contract. I said they would have made him sweat like they normally do to get that contract. Now, and then I put, with that being said, he deserved every penny of it because he's a baller.
What'd you get the flack for?
Because some people, they said I made it a race thing. And I didn't think I was making it a race thing. I was making it more of a team thing. But I mean, I guess it's part race. But I know that he's white. And I know that he can play. And that's why I put in there, he deserved every dime because he's a baller.
I think that he deserved what he got. I think
if not more.
Yeah, I think he brings the value to that team.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Carolina for recognizing that he does bring that value. Does he reset the market for other running backs? I don't think so.
Well, you know who's next?
Alvin Kamara.
So let's go back to what I said though. What are your takes on? Do you think that his skin color played any part in him getting an extension?
No.
Okay. All right. Now, mind you, he had 2 years left. And that's unheard of for anybody to get an extension with 2 years left. Now, again, he would have got that money anyway, but I mean, 2 years left and they gave him a 4-year extension.
So, okay, let's back up to what you're saying because I'm thinking about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You got Le'Veon Bell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say that this is just opinion based on my part, but I think Le'Veon Bell pretty similar to Christian McCaffrey as far as at his prime. If not better. Most will argue that Le'Veon Bell in his prime at the height of his career, they would take him over Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
I think it's a fair argument.
Well, and real quick, I know a lot of people will bring up the stats, right? And what Christian McCaffrey's done in his 3 years, but Christian McCaffrey doesn't have an Antonio Brown. Cam Newton's gone. Honestly, Greg Olsen, he's been hurt the whole time Christian McCaffrey's been there. So he's pretty much been the focal point since he's been on the Panthers. All right, you go ahead.
No, I think that's a good point. So you look at Le'Veon Bell, who really had to fight tooth and nail to get what he even got, and they even wanted to put him on the trade block just because I guess the Jets don't even feel like that was a favorable contract in their favor.
Right.
You look at like Todd Gurley. I mean, the Rams were basically like crucified for giving him that deal. Mm-hmm. And you look at Christian McCaffrey, to where Carolina is pretty much praised. I haven't heard anything negative,
right,
with them giving them that deal. So it does make you wonder. I wouldn't say that you're completely wrong. I don't think it was a race thing.
I mean, it's something to think about. I put it like that.
It is something to think about. He balls, man. I mean, he balls out. I don't think it's going to change the future of the running backs, unfortunately, just because I see teams going to more running back by committees.
So let me ask you this, because I'm glad you said that. Because again, Alvin Kamara is up next. And a lot of the argument that people were giving me was Christian McCaffrey was pretty much a quiet boy. He doesn't get in trouble. He's straightforward. Boom, boom, boom. Now, Alvin Kamara doesn't say anything. Alvin Kamara is he's a good guy. He doesn't get in trouble. He does everything that he's supposed to do. His numbers aren't better than McCaffrey's. Obviously, he had a running mate before, but Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara do a lot of similar things. So if Alvin Kamara has a real argument to say, if Christian McCaffrey is getting this, I deserve equal or more.
So this is one thing that I look at, and I think is people aren't comparing it. You got to look at the organization and you got to look at the coach.
That too.
So I think like with the Saints, you got Sean Payton, who's pretty much a Bill Parcells disciple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Parcells doesn't believe in paying running backs.
Okay.
And if you look at like really like Sean Payton's like track record, he's went through some running backs. I mean, good running backs, you know. I really feel that, and
most of them were old, though.
Huh?
Most of them were old. Most of his good running backs were older.
Yeah, but he enlists more of a running back by committee. Like you won't really see him having a 3-down running back that he's going to get a ball to every down. And
that was Kamara last year,
right? But for the most part, I think Sean Payton kind of feels like he can find value at running back in the draft, and he's not going to tie up a lot of money in a running back.
Okay.
I mean, look at it this way, right? He had Adrian Peterson, Mark Ingram, and Kamara on the team.
Right.
And he pretty much was just going like, I'm riding with Kamara. You had Mark Ingram that was balling next to Kamara. It's like, all right, we're going to get Kamara. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he has like some sort of backup plan in the draft.
Okay, so it's a couple things. So I'm looking on the Facebook joint, right? And one person said the Rams didn't get crucified until Gurley got hurt.
Right.
It's a good point. That's a good point.
Great point.
And with that kind of hurts the running back market. I think his deal ultimately hurt the running back market, you know? So I can understand that. But as far as the Saints, he's had, like you said, that year when he had Adrian Peterson, Mark Ingram, Adrian Peterson got traded. Adrian Peterson shouldn't have never signed it. He actually should have went to the Giants because the Giants needed a running back. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they offered him a contract, but he ended up going almost like he was ring chasing. And now he's in Washington. Now look at him. But he's doing pretty well in Washington.
He did real well.
Yeah. He did pretty good. Yeah. So I don't. But he knew going into that situation he wasn't going to be on the back that he was in Minnesota. So that was, to me, I think that was the bad decision. They went with Kamara was a rookie that year, and Mark Ingram is still an older running back. I think he's still an older running back. So it's like they got Mark Ingram out of there because they made Kamara the focal point. Now, Kamara went and got hurt this year, so I think what happens this year is going to really say a lot as to how he's going to get paid, because if he happens to get hurt again this year, he's going to have a really tough time getting a deal like McCaffrey.
I think personally, he will have to go somewhere else to get the deal. And back to the organization argument that I was
Mm-hmm.
making, Carolina was not in a position not to give Christian McCaffrey that money.
That plays a huge part.
Yeah, they had to. You know, with the Steelers, they had weapons, so they could kind of be like, you know what, we're not going to pay you. We're going to franchise tag you. With the Saints, as long as they got Drew Brees and they got a few weapons, you know they tied up a lot of their money in Michael Thomas. You know,
but I think so. So what would be a fair value for Kamara?
If I was the GM, I think a 4-year, $55 million.
So
I don't know if he gets McCaffrey money just because again, Carolina didn't have a top wide out. They got Bridgewater for, I mean, I wouldn't say cheap, but it wasn't like
I wouldn't say cheap neither, but it wasn't like
compared to like what other quarterbacks are getting.
So what about because right after that is going to be Barkley. So what does Barkley get? Does Barkley get 16 per?
That's to be honest, that's a good argument. I would personally pay Saquon. Because again, you got to go with the organization, right? So the Giants
don't pay running backs.
No, they don't pay running backs, but who else are they going to pay?
Well, they're going to have to pay the quarterback soon.
You know, you can make the argument with Kamara that they're going to use them not as much as you would use Saquon Barkley. Like, I see more like Sean Payton's more of like a game planner to where it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like a power back and it's like, okay, I want to give Kamara like 22 touches, you know what I mean? Or like 18 touches a game. I'm going to split them out and I want to use Michael Thomas. I'm going to spread out and you're not going to know what my game plan is. The New York Giants will almost be better off just giving Saquon the ball every down. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? Just give it to him. Just give it to him every down. So I think it's a different value in it. Not that Kamara isn't as good as Christian McCaffrey. I just think it deals with system and organization.
So okay, and then you have who am I forgetting? Derrick Henry. So now, because again, a lot of people were saying that when I was bringing up the whole topic, of Christian McCaffrey and him being white, and everybody would say, well, focus on his production and focus on that he doesn't get in trouble and anything like that. And it's more running backs. It's more running backs that don't get in trouble because we're just talking about running backs. There's more running backs that don't get in trouble because most of these guys you don't really hear anything about them. Most of the guys that get in trouble are receivers and guys on the D line for whatever reason. I don't know why.
So the Titans franchise tag Derrick Henry.
Right.
What do you think his value is?
So I won't say he should be the highest paid running back because I don't think he's the best running back in the league. But I think he should get anywhere between, because what is he getting now with the franchise tag? I think he's getting what, 13 million? I think, or 12 something, like between 12 and 13 million. I think he should get that per year. At least 13 million. Yeah, at the least 13 million. I mean, because if you look at his production, yes. He started off slow, but when he got there, if I'm not mistaken, when he got to Tennessee, they had they had another running back there. I think he was sharing carries or something like that, or he was hurt early in his career. And I say from not this past season, the year before that, when they played Jacksonville on Thursday night, they played him on Thursday night, and he had that crazy run that they replayed over and over and over. He's taken off. He's been the best back in football. He's had the most rushing yards, and he's put that team on his back.
Well, it's hard to argue that. I mean, the past year and a half, because like I said, he had a back half of the season, and I'll never forget it. I think we had played in fantasy league, right?
Mm-hmm. I just cut him.
He dropped him.
Yep.
And that joker went
like over 200
the rest of the season, and then he followed it up this year by having a good season. So I mean, he should get his money. I think he definitely should get his money. And
but how much though? How much?
I think he should at least see what Christian McCaffrey is doing, because again, it's the system, right? Mm-hmm. Because you look at, like, if you take Derrick Henry off that team, I don't think Tannehill.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's not.
He's not successful.
Yeah, I mean, even though you're tougher on Tannehill than I am. I think that Tannehill still is a good quarterback, but if you take Henry off the Tennessee Titans right now, they're not going to the playoffs. They're not beating the Patriots. They're not beating the Ravens. So yeah, he's the most important person on that offense right now.
Right. I think with Tannehill, where I'm at with him, is sort of where I was with Derrick Henry at the beginning of last year. I've got to see more of it. You know what I mean? I got to see more consistent play. Can he duplicate it?
Yeah. Now I will say, if I had to choose between getting Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. Well,
he's more versatile, right. And I think he fits into where the NFL is actually going.
Yeah, I mean, and someone said, and I want to hear your take on this. Someone said that Derrick Henry is Larry Johnson 2.0. And I said, and they said because of the usage, but you know, I don't know, because they don't throw Derrick Henry the ball that much. I mean, I think he had like 200 yards receiving or something like that.
Well, yeah, I like the comparison in the sense that they have very similar running styles. Mm-hmm. They're both big backs, you know what I mean, and they both were bruising backs. Again, like I said, and you could throw Leonard Fournette in that, right? Like they're all kind of the same. No.
I'll take Derrick Henry over Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette.
Oh, that's no argument.
Yeah, but he hasn't really shown me anything. I'm sorry. I ain't.
Isn't showing you nothing?
Not really. I mean, he's shown me that he can stay hurt. I mean, he's shown potential.
Leonard Fournette is in the same situation Derrick Henry was in prior. There is nothing around him.
That's an excuse, but
I mean, it's tough. It's tough as a running back when you're the focal point, like Christian McCaffrey, like we were just saying, right? Mm-hmm. He's the only person on that team, and you take Cam Newton off that team, mm-hmm. It's just fun. It's completely different when those defensive coordinators are game planning for you. Like mm-hmm. It's just you. So I don't know. So I do got something I got to bring up though. Mm-hmm. Our good buddy Bill O'Brien, man.
Okay, Bill O'Brien.
What is Bill O'Brien doing over there, man?
It looked like he's trying to lose his job. I said this before. Listen, don't be surprised. The draft is next week. Don't be surprised if Deshaun Watson gets traded.
Nah, he ain't gonna trade Deshaun Watson. I think Bill O'Brien has outsmarted himself. Now you want to talk about race. There's somebody that if he was black, he wouldn't have his job. Like, so from a coaching standpoint, I'm not huge on Bill O'Brien,
Mm-hmm.
but statistically, since he's been in the league, his team has ended up like 5th in the AFC. So he's been a playoff coach. You can't really.
I'm sorry. I just read something on the face. They said if you want to finesse somebody, call Bill O'Brien. I think he finesses himself, but that was a good.
No,
go ahead.
Real, I'm just shocked at. I saw a list the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it had like Percy Harvin, Roy Williams,
Jesus,
Odell Beckham. Who else did it have on there? It had a whole bunch of receivers that were traded. Oh, it had Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
And it had like a whole bunch of receivers that were traded for first round picks. And it had a big X with DeAndre
Hopkins.
And it was like he was clearly better than everybody on that list. So not only did you not get a first rounder for him, you trade and get David Johnson. So to make that sting even more, you probably could have picked up Todd Gurley.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And kept DeAndre Hopkins. You've got a draft that is full of like receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have drafted a receiver. You traded your first round picks for I forget the tackles. Tunsil,
mm-hmm.
which you did need a tackle,
right?
But it was like you overpaid for that, so now you got to pay him. And then to make matters worse, you get like Braden Cooks for a second rounder. Like, and look, Braden Cooks, he could ball when he's healthy, but he's like been in a concussion protocol.
One trick pony, man. So look, and they picked up Cobb too. So they picked up Randall Cobb. That's a good pickup. It's a good pickup. So here's the thing. So right now, I mean, they didn't pay him that much. So, but right now they have Fuller, who we don't know if he's going to be healthy or not. They have Brandon Cooks and they have Randall Cobb. I mean, they better draft a receiver, but they have other needs as well. So, I mean, I would take DeAndre Hopkins over all those guys that I just named. All of them. And they didn't want to pay DeAndre Hopkins. They say he was asking for too much.
So this is one of those things that if it pans out, he'll still look stupid.
It's not going
to. If it doesn't,
yeah. No, go ahead.
No, it's not going to pan out.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't pan out, he's dumber. He's dumber than what we thought he was. I just think it's a lot of risk. It's a lot of injury-prone receivers with an injury-prone running back.
Yo, just think about this for a minute. Brandon Cooks, concussion. Will Fuller either has bad hamstrings or concussion. Randall Cobb, here and there, whatever, and David Johnson. I tell you what, they better have the best strength and conditioning coaches in the league because they're gonna struggle with having guys healthy. And you had somebody who was a model of consistency in DeAndre Hopkins. You still have a young quarterback in Watson, and to me, that not wanting to pay DeAndre Hopkins is just dumb. It's just dumb. I mean, because what has he done to not pay him? What has he done to not? You have to pay him.
I don't know. Not drop a pass. go season without dropping a pass. I don't know. Yeah. All pro team. It just.
Yeah. So I think that what's going to end up happening this year is that they're going to struggle. They're not going to win a division. They won't go to the playoffs. And he's going to get fired. But to make it matters even worse, that he's going to get fired and he's going to leave the incoming coaching GM with a crap, like a bunch of crap that they need to fix. and it's going to take a while. It may not take as long as we think, but it's going to take a while.
So what I see with Bill O'Brien, and he's not. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a racist. I think he's just trying to be like Bill Belichick.
All Bill Belichick's coach tries to be like Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick, and it only works for like Bill Belichick. If you look at the track record of coaches under Bill Belichick, I can't think of many that are successful.
Well, there's one that just beat him. What's his name? Is it Vrabel? Mike Vrabel? Who's the coach for the Tennessee Titans?
That's it.
Yeah, Vrabel. I mean, he doesn't seem to be trying to be like Bill Belichick. He seems to have his own style. I mean, you can't play for Bill Belichick and coach under Bill Belichick and not take some things from Bill Belichick. He's one of the best coaches in any sport. So you should take some things, but you should still have your own coaching style.
Yeah, but Mike Vrabel, he's not the GM. And again, that's I think he's doing a good job, but to be consistent with it. You know what I mean? Tennessee isn't necessarily like a powerhouse. Like it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee didn't make the playoffs next year.
A lot of people think that, and they've been saying that for like the last 2 years. And if I'm not mistaken, was he the coach when they beat Kansas City? I don't think he was the coach yet.
So let me ask you this. Yeah. As a Cowboy fan, if you see Tennessee on the schedule, are you that scared?
I'm concerned.
Huh.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared of any team, but I will have some concern because here's the thing: those guys there play for him. They since he's been there, they've had a stingy defense. Their defense has been legit since Vrabel's been there, and they've always had a running game. So if you have a good defense, you have a running game, you're going to be in every game. You're going to be in every game.
Yeah, but again, the thing is, like, just because you're a good coach doesn't mean that you're a good evaluator of talent or you're strategic. I think that's like the GM's job is to be strategic, to have that overall vision, and the coach kind of just brings it to life. With Bill O'Brien, I don't think he's savvy enough to have that overall vision and coach. Like, he's somebody that you need to reel in. Like, obviously, like, he needed a no man to be like, you know what? You're not getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Like, you need to figure it out. You need to figure out how to manage.
Somehow he went to the owner and said, we need to get rid of this guy because he's going to cost us too much. Somehow the owner said, okay.
Yeah, same with Clowney. I mean, got rid of him, and it's just like you're not. I guess nobody understands what he's trying to do. You know, the Texans are far from the Patriots. Like, it's not a next up environment. Like, we don't have like with Bill Belichick, what he's been able to show is like, look, I don't necessarily need a number one pick. I could take a whole bunch of number 3s and number 4s. I'll draft the right players for my system, and I'll develop them, and I'll still win. Nobody has a confidence in Bill O'Brien. You know what I mean? Nobody has the confidence that, you know what, we're going to give you a whole bunch of second and third round picks. You have 10 picks, and you're going to be able to draft and coach your guys up and be ready for next season.
Well, he better.
Well, if anybody has that much confidence in Bill O'Brien, please chime in and do something because I don't know anybody that has that confidence in him.
Bill O'Brien is he's this is it. He has this year. If I was the owner, I wouldn't give him more because, I mean, he's had chance after chance after chance. Now, again, like you said, they've gotten to the playoffs, but they beat Buffalo this year because of DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson.
As a coach,
no, man.
As a coach, I think it's going to be really tough to fire him. As a GM, he should have been fired yesterday. Now, the right move would be is to get a GM and make him coach that crap that he put together.
Nah, GM will probably change everything up.
And hold him accountable and fire him.
So before we get off this topic, so that I remember, I want to say it was probably like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I said that the AFC North has the potential to be, not the North, the AFC South has the potential to be one of the best divisions in the league because of the quarterbacks that were there, because Andrew Luck was there, Deshaun Watson was there, Mariota was there, and who was with the Jags? The Jags had somebody that was who was with
Foles?
No, they just got Nick Foles. Who was before Nick Foles?
Blake Bortles.
Yeah, it could have been Blake Bortles. No, it was Blake Bortles because that's when they went to the AFC Championship. But I remember I was like, well, they have the potential because 3 of those quarterbacks, they look like they will be like really good quarterbacks. And now it's like I don't know what's going on with this division. Like Luck retired.
So I will say this: you've always been on board with that. And I'll tell you, I've disagreed with you every single time that you said that. Like,
it had the potential.
The South is no different than any other division.
I don't know. The NFC South looks.
I always go with this, and I always say this: the AFC, I just feel like, is always top heavy.
Okay,
it is. They may win the Super Bowl. I mean, you've got 4 teams to beat in the AFC every year. And other than that, it's just kind of like whoever's out there.
Okay. I mean,
I feel like you got the Patriots to beat every year. You got the Chiefs that emerge. You got the Ravens. And then you may have like,
are you talking about now or like in the last 10 years? I'm talking
about just in general. Like, you had like the Steelers there.
The Steelers are always there.
Yeah, they're always there, but them actually winning the Super Bowl is just kind of like, maybe. Same with Houston. Houston has been there always. Like, Houston is one of the most consistent first-round playoff teams that's out.
Okay. So, all right. So this is kind of turning into another conversation that I wasn't even expecting to have, but we're gonna have it. So, with that being said, who has the best division? And you're 49er fan. You're a 49er fan, so I already know where you're going. But
no, I'm not even going to say the NFC West. I think it's between NFC South, and I'll say like the NFC West. I think the NFC West is probably so. The NFC South has got interesting because you got Tom Brady that's joined the fight. So him, Drew Brees, and Matt Ryan. I mean, you
still got Bridgewater. Don't Bridgewater's not a slouch.
Bridgewater, okay. He's okay. I mean, that's a tough 3 to match up against. I think the NFC West, you got the 49ers. They're still probably going to be right there. Okay. You got Seattle. It's tough. You can't discredit the Rams, even though I'm not a huge fan of what they did in free agency. And Arizona has got a lot more interesting.
Okay. That's good points. Good points. I would say if you match team for team, then I'll take the NFC South over the NFC West. Want me to explain? I'll explain.
No. You don't have to explain.
Okay.
I think that the X factor is the Atlanta Falcons.
because they could be 13-3 or 3-13.
And it's the same with the Rams. Like we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know how good they're going to be. I think Tampa Bay is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think New Orleans is going to be good, but Carolina, I think they're going to have a tough time competing in that division. Atlanta is a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
As much credit and praise that I've given the Cardinals,
they ain't done nothing yet.
Exactly.
And if you give them praise, you know what you're going to hear from me? You know how much hell you gave me last year with the Browns? I don't want to hear nothing about the Cardinals this year because
I wouldn't bet anything on them. I'd just say that with DeAndre Hopkins, it's gotten a lot more interesting. You know, they have Larry Fitzgerald and DeAndre Hopkins, and
they sure sounded like the Browns of last year, bro. Listen, the Browns had Landry, and then they ended up trading for Odell. They had a running game.
Yeah, you know what? I buy into what you're saying. I mean, but I saw that with the Browns, but I wouldn't. But see, here's the difference.
They got a better coach.
I think Arizona would be interesting, but I'm not predicting that they'll go to the playoffs. You know what I mean? I still think that they could be, I say 8-8. I see 8.
What did they finish this year? 5-11?
Something like that, maybe even 4.
I think they won 5 games. But okay, I mean, yeah, 8-8 ain't gonna get you in the playoffs this year.
Nah.
Yeah, 8-8's not gonna get not in the NFC.
So let's go back to his Browns argument. I heard that Odell Beckham was in some trade talks with the Vikings.
I don't think that's true.
The Browns take the next leap, the next step.
As far as what?
As far as being just better than they were last year.
Oh, absolutely. I think the Browns. Come on, man. The
Browns are what?
The Browns will be better than they were last year. I'm not. Listen, I ain't buying you another hat, yo. I'm not betting. Only team I'm betting on this year are the Cowboys. That's it. I ain't betting on the Browns. I ain't betting on the Bucks. I ain't betting on the Cardinals. I ain't betting on none of them teams. No, because that shit. No, it's gonna bite me in the ass. No, nope.
I think the problem with the Browns and they really squandered a really good opportunity is Pittsburgh will be better next year.
I wouldn't say that.
They'll have everybody back. They'll have that defense, and they'll have everybody back. The Ravens are not going anywhere.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah, the Ravens are not going anywhere. So
I don't think the Ravens snuck up on it. I think that maybe they may have overachieved, but I don't think there was anybody that thought that the Ravens wasn't going to be good. I think there may have been some questions on Lamar Jackson as far as him throwing the ball, but everybody knew that he could run the ball, and then they added Mark Ingram. So I don't think that they snuck up on people, but that now they're the 100, even though they didn't win the Super Bowl. But I mean, they put on a show last year, and one of the teams that beat them down was the Browns. So I mean, they got a year under their belt together. They got rid of that terrible coach. We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, no, we'll see. Playoffs, it's the Browns.
They got to show you. They got to show you.
They got to show you.
I mean, and I get that. I drank the Kool-Aid last year. That's why I don't drink Kool-Aid no more. Because oh my gosh, they were, man, and you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. But they signed didn't they sign? They signed Hooper, right? Or was it them that signed Hooper? So they signed the tight end. They signed another tight end. Hooper was good for Atlanta. And you pair him with
Njoku.
Huh?
What do you do with Njoku now?
Njoku's still your starting tight end. But look how many teams. That's just another. Hooper's not just he's still a passing option. You know what I'm saying? So look, man, that's another threat. That's not we're not saying that he's gonna be an all pro, but Njoku's clearly better. But if Njoku gets hurt, so the problem was last year. The problem was last year, Njoku got hurt and Mayfield didn't have nobody to dump the ball off to, because and their play calling was terrible. Like they had terrible play calling. So once Njoku got hurt, that middle was they didn't have a tight end to throw to. And we all know that no matter your receivers, the tight end is the quarterback's best friend.
So I am with you on this. They'd be an easy team to make the playoffs on Madden. They can make a Super Bowl run on Madden.
You're not about to sit here and make me defend the damn Browns again. I'm not taking that bait. All I'm saying is they have another year under their belt together.
And nobody is discrediting. I mean, nobody is disagreeing with you, and you are right. They do have a lot of talent, but I've seen this movie before. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it a lot.
And we've also seen that other side of that movie where that second year they have all the pieces and they go crazy.
And they could. I mean, it would be.
It's the NFL. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be like a over the top story like with all that talent that you just named. And if they came back and they went 13-3, or they made the playoffs and they went on some magical run, good for them. They should. They've got like all the talent that you could think of. They got two of the best running backs, easily probably the best running back tandem out there.
Did Hunt re-sign with them?
I gotta look at it.
So,
but with Chubb, you've got easily now two of the best tight ends. Tandem. And then look at the receivers. You got two of the best pair of receivers together. So you
have no excuses. You have no excuses.
Huh?
You have no excuses. They have no excuses.
Nothing. The defense was pretty stout. You get Myles Garrett back. Really?
Okay, man. They should have had a better season last year, but they didn't have good coaching. Freddie Kitchens was definitely in over his head. He was in over his head.
I think it's the quarterback.
Maybe. I don't know. All right, so let's get to We'll see. We'll see. But listen. Every quarterback, no matter how good or bad you are, that second year is always brutal, man. For the most part, that second year is brutal. So now the third year, if he regresses now, then hey,
So let me ask you this though, and I thought about this a lot. If you were Tom Brady, do you think the Browns had better weapons than the Buccaneers? Could you imagine Tom Brady on the Browns?
That would be unfair, yo. That would be unfair. That would be unfair.
I was thinking about it. I never said it because I was like, nah, I've thrown the Browns so much shade. But could you imagine Phillip Rivers with the Browns?
Yeah. Phillip Rivers has similar weapons. So I don't know. No. He threw 20 interceptions last year.
Nobody in football has the weapons that the Browns have.
Yeah, yes, that's not true. That's not true.
Who's got better weapons than the Browns?
The Bucks have similar weapons.
They've got better weapons than the Browns?
They have similar weapons.
They got better weapons than the Browns.
They have similar weapons. I
don't receivers, but they don't have the running backs that they have.
I mean,
and
Jones may be all right.
That they would go even. I say Cameron Brate and OJ Howard.
That's a better tandem than Njoku and nobody else. It was Njoku and
they got Hooper now.
But they got Hooper now, yeah. Look, man.
Who else got better weapons though?
Who has better weapons? I'm sorry, I'm looking at some of these comments, man. They get on my
What's the comments saying, man?
Joey asks, will we be covering VSU Turkey Bowl? Actually, we will. We will.
Look, you're gonna play, I'll cover.
All right, whatever. So back to what we were talking about. I'm not getting into that with him right now because they crazy. Who has better weapons than the Browns?
Let me ask y'all this. When is the Turkey Bowl? I saw like a survey going on.
Thanksgiving. It's gonna be Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving morning.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So, all right. So somebody said Rams and Chiefs have better weapons than the Browns.
They got better running back.
Well, Nick Chubb was second in the league in rushing last year, right? Yeah. So
receivers, you think they got better receivers?
Who? No.
They got a better quarterback. But I'm just talking about aside from the quarterback.
Well, that's debatable because I mean it's up in the air to say Goff is better than Baker Mayfield. I'm not a fan of Jared Goff. Other than the Monday night game, that 1 year he had a really good year that year when they played. The year they went to the Super Bowl.
I would take Jared Goff before I took Baker Mayfield.
Well, we'll see. Baker Mayfield, he's going into his third year. Jared Goff is going into his fifth year.
Yes, put up or shut up for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. So let's get to your winner of the week real quick.
Oh man, I'll shout out because I know we're a little short on time.
We got plenty of time.
I ain't got plenty of time.
You got daddy duty. You got daddy duty.
Yeah, I got plenty of time. But yo, I gotta give it.
And what? And 90 Day Fiance.
Oh,
Go ahead.
No, I had to give it to Kyle Lawson, man.
Okay.
If you don't know, that's the NASCAR racer that used the N-word in a virtual race, and aside from using the N-word, which is normally enough to get you the winner of the week, my man watched all his sponsorships drop them one by one. And I want to tell you that N-word cost that man millions of dollars. And it's like, man, you got to be more clever. You're gonna be a racist, man. Do it behind closed doors, man. But
no. If you're gonna be a racist out and out. I don't want no behind closed door racist. Nope.
I was gonna cost you millions, man.
Well, I mean,
God.
Hey, I think he apologized twice.
It still ain't bring that money back.
Yeah, and so I think that because like all those sponsors were quick to respond because of the pandemic and everything that's going on. So everybody was watching, and it garnered so much attention that he deserved to lose those sponsors. He deserved it.
Yeah. Nah, he definitely deserved it.
And then it'd be look, the word shouldn't be said, right? But it'd be different if he was like a baseball player, a basketball player, maybe even soccer. But NASCAR, you can't be a NASCAR driver and use the N-word. He may not get any of those back. He may not. I mean, because let's be honest, NASCAR is, you think of like the Dukes of Hazzard. They had a Confederate flag. They even at some racetracks, some still have the Confederate flag in some areas. For 60 something years, they didn't even acknowledge black people. The one guy that won a race, they didn't even he couldn't go on like victory lane because they didn't want him to be televised kissing a white woman. Yeah, man. So NASCAR has that history of racism, and then NASCAR came out and they almost like, it wasn't like they first of all, they should have just denounced the word or denounced him doing it. They was just like, it was a bad word, and we don't stand for that. Instead of saying what he did was wrong and whatever, they did suspend him, which was okay, but I don't know, man. I don't know if he comes back from that.
Nah, but we're a forgiving society, so you never know. All right, so I do want to leave on this note. Got Sunday, the Bulls documentary. Are you ready?
Oh yeah. Because listen, the Bulls doc. I've been waiting for this for like years. They moved it up, for obvious reasons. And I want them to tell the truth, though. I mean, I know we're not going to – I think the first episode we're probably going to get, like, the backstories of Jordan and Pippen and Rodman, probably Phil Jackson when he played for the Knicks. But as it goes on, man, I want them to let everybody know that Jordan didn't really have the flu, man. I want them to let people know that he had a hangover, man.
Well, he's the executive producer.
He had the flu then. He had the flu.
Executive producer.
We won't listen because
that's my only hesitation with it. I'm looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. But when I found out he was the executive producer, I was like,
oh boy. Yeah, you're gonna get so I think it's still gonna be good, but like I want to know the reason why, there was always the rumors of why he retired the first time, right? He had the gambling issue and that may have led to some other things that we know about. I want to know is this why did you really retire? Why? And it wasn't just to go play baseball. It wasn't.
See, I think he did retire for that.
No, man. No. Maybe he thought about it, but not to play baseball. To play minor league baseball.
I think that he probably was in his man cave getting drunk, smoking cigars, mm-hmm. and just thought to himself, it probably was an empty feeling for him.
I don't know. I think it's more to it than.
You ever seen Jordan Rides the Bus?
Mm-hmm.
I think he explains it pretty well in that.
Yeah, and I didn't buy everything then. I mean that's a cool story, but
I think sometimes, and I was listening to Tom Brady a little bit talk about like why he decided to lead the Patriots. Mm-hmm. I think when you're that competitive, you don't really care what everybody else thinks. And I think he really thought that if he put his focus into baseball, he could be just as great at baseball. I've heard the stories of the gambling, mm-hmm. But I don't think that had any reason. That was one of the reasons why he retired. It's going to be interesting what they put out. It's mm-hmm. a ton of interviews. Yep. And I like the collection of people that they got because I saw Isaiah Thomas and I mm-hmm. saw a couple other people that are not really the biggest Jordan fan.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right, last thing before we get out of here. You're a Knicks fan. We talked about the Bulls, but I want to get your take on this. I know you heard about what Charles Oakley said about.
I'm glad you brought that up too.
Ooh, what are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was. You know what? Let me paraphrase my my thoughts. Because Charles Oakley, even though he's a little older, he still like he put them hands on.
Yo, don't be scared now, man. Speak your mind, man.
Man, I thought it was terrible, man. But Charles Oakley, he is determined to burn every bridge that he could burn. Mm. And I really think that for him to say that about Patrick Ewing mm-hmm. was just terrible. But see, this is the thing about Charles Oakley. And I want to put this out here. He's one of them people that, and this is at a distance, if you make him mad, he is petty enough to say something like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if him and Patrick Ewing got into an argument last week and he went out and just said like a whole bunch of stuff that he probably meant.
Right.
I don't know if you heard about like him and Bernard King.
Oakley and Bernard King?
Yeah. He was mad because Bernard King didn't side with him with the whole Mike Dolan thing. So he went on a tangent about Bernard King and how he pretty much doesn't like Bernard King. And it was just he wasn't Latrell Sprewell. He was mad at Latrell Sprewell. It's just like the list goes on. So the one thing I want to like comment on with Charles Oakley is it seems to be a pattern.
So I think that you can't put all of that on Ewing, because he said that Ewing's leadership style pretty much is the reason why they couldn't get over the hump. And that may be true to an extent, but when you're in Game 7 and Starks is what, 3 for 21 or something like that. He makes a couple of things. It's not like the Knicks got blown out. It's Game 7. You got to hit your shots, and he didn't hit his shots. I can't put everything on, because if Starks does make a few more shots and the Knicks win the championship, does his tune change?
Well, the way I kind of look at it is, Charles Oakley, where were you? Like, you couldn't put the team on your back? I mean, it is tough to look at any team in that era and blame them for not beating arguably pretty much everybody regarded as the greatest player to ever pick up a basketball. It's tough. It's tough to look at Barkley. It's tough to look at Karl Malone. It's tough to look at Patrick Ewing and every other player that Michael Jordan denied during that time period and say, you couldn't get it done against Michael Jordan. And I mean, is that fair?
Well, Patrick Ewing was the face of the Knicks.
In the era where you weren't teaming up with your buddies. You know what I mean? In the era where I'm pretty sure Patrick Ewing, because Larry Bird and Patrick Ewing are pretty good friends. I mean, we've all seen the USA documentary. You know, what's to stop him from teaming up with Larry Bird? Or I know Larry Bird was a little bit.
He was done by the 90s.
He was done. But Patrick Ewing could have teamed up with somebody. He could have teamed up with a better supporting cast and maybe got it done. But he stayed with the Knicks and he tried to do his thing. So I think that was real unfair.
I mean, yeah, I get it. I don't think you should blame one person, because, I mean, you could say, well, what did Pat Riley do, or what did
they were a team.
Yeah, they were a team. I agree. No, I agree.
They were a team that really, if you think about those Knicks team, and I'm a Knicks fan, they were good teams, but outside of Patrick Ewing, you didn't really.
I am not. No, don't do that. I'm not going to let you do that. Those were some. No, those Knicks teams.
Who was the second star on that team?
Back then, you didn't need. I mean, well, you always need a second star.
Who was
he had. Listen,
on that team?
You still, but they didn't need. They had a team. They still had Starks. You had Greg Anthony at times. You had yeah, he was a good point guard. You had Starks. You had Anthony Mason.
Derek Harper.
You had Derek Harper after. You had Charles Oakley. I'm not gonna say Charles Smith, because he's probably the reason why.
Yeah, you had Charles Smith. I mean, them teams were good, but I'm just saying, like, what consistent second scorer did he have? He didn't have a Pippen.
Hey, I mean, most teams didn't have a Pippen,
but he didn't have that second legit.
Who was Reggie Miller's second scorer then?
Again, Reggie Miller didn't have, like, I mean, he had the Rick Smith and he had the Davis boys and
he had Jalen Rose,
Jackson, and
those were good teams. Those were good teams.
It was good teams. But if Patrick Ewing had a bad night, who was there consistently to pick up that slack? If Reggie Miller had a bad night, who was going to pick up that slack? It wasn't like nowadays where, like, LeBron James have a bad game. You got Anthony Davis right there.
Oh, come on, man. That's like Jordan and Pippen.
Or James Harden have a bad game.
So what about
you got Russell Westbrook?
So what about you talking about that? So what about when LeBron was on that 07 team? What about Iverson when he was on that 2000 team?
Yeah, okay, so that's the argument that I'm making.
Shoot, what about the Knicks? What about the Knicks in '99?
Hold on, you asked me to answer that. Okay. That's the argument that I'm making. It's unfair to go back to LeBron and say, "Oh, man, you wasn't a good enough leader on that 07 team. Who else did you have? It was you.
Look, hey,
it was you by yourself."
Well, go tell all those LeBron haters. Go tell all those LeBron haters that.
Yeah, you weren't a good enough leader. Who else did you have on that team that you took to the finals?
Mutombo.
Yeah, Mutombo.
Aaron McKee.
Aaron McKee coming off the bench. Like
Tyrone Hill. Come on.
Man, it was a different era, man.
So what? Okay. So a team like the Pistons that was that 04. They won the championship 04. So a team like the Pistons that didn't have a star. They didn't have a star. I don't even know if anybody on that team made All NBA.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. It's a little bit different. So with that team, you had Chauncey Billups, Rick Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, you had Rasheed Wallace, and you had Ben Wallace. Yep. And they weren't superstars, but you had pretty much basically 4 all-stars on that team. Mm-hmm. It far different than what Patrick Ewing was facing.
Starks made an all-star team.
He did, but he wasn't. Starks could be lost in basketball history.
He had a basketball shoe.
He did, but Starks could be lost in basketball history.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I know who John Starks is, and I appreciate John Starks, but to sit there and say, yo, you and John Starks should have got it done. Y'all should have had a championship. They would ask, man.
They were the 2 guys on NBA Jam. What do you mean?
That was about to ask, man. It's a lot to ask of Pat Ewing, man. Like, yo, you should have brought the city a championship.
He should have.
Man.
He should have. And he couldn't get it done.
Oh, okay. Man, on that note,
what, man?
I am out on that note, man.
What? One last thing. I know you got to go. One last thing. I was watching one documentary about Pippen and Larry Johnson. I don't know how I forgot this, but Larry Johnson, LJ, and Scottie Pippen hated each other. Did you know that?
I did not.
So, oh my gosh! So when Larry Johnson got to the Knicks, I think because Larry Johnson got traded for was it Oakley or Anthony Mason? Remember, Anthony Mason got traded to the Hornets for Larry Johnson. You remember that?
Yeah.
So, and I want to say that was 98. Was that 98 or 97? One of those years. So somehow they got into it, and I think Pippen said that they made a mistake trading. They lost their toughness trading Anthony Mason. So LJ said, well, all he has to do is pass the ball to 23. Anybody could do that, blah, blah, blah. So they defended each other. And I'm sorry. Yeah, he said they lost their defensive toughness. So Pippen went and put up, I think he got shut down. I think he had like 14 points. He was like 3 for 18, and the Bulls ended up winning, but Pippen stunk or whatever. No, the Knicks won that game. So anyway, they played again, and Pippen was so pissed that that LJ was saying what he said, and they made a concerted effort to just give him the ball, and he put up like 40 on LJ. And it was a good little story that I was reading. I'm gonna send you the link. It was on YouTube. And hey man, I didn't know they hated each other, yo.
All right, but shoot, man, I want to go ahead and get up out of here, man.
You ain't gonna like shut me that, you know. It's right. All right, man. We out.
We'll go all night, man.
We out, man. Hey, man. Look, we out.
All night.
This off the record. I'm Anthony Adebayo. I don't even know who this guy. I don't even know who this guy is anymore, man. I don't even know him anymore, man. God, you act so different now. But all right, man. You take it easy.
All right, you too, man.
Yeah.
Peace.